Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at terrain masking. And basically the whole goal here is just to kind of show you some tactical considerations you can make when attempting to deploy weapons in such a way that limits the ability for them to be intercepted. So as you can probably tell by looking at a little scenario here, and of course the date, this is basically the precursor to the Persian Gulf War, Operation Desert Shield, Operation Desert Storm, depending on what part of the operation you're in that is. And what we're going to do today is that we're going to launch a couple Tomahawk missiles directly into the heart of Baghdad with the express purpose of basically blowing up as much of these command centers as we possibly can. Now, for those of you who know history, you'll probably recall that when they actually originally did this, they launched a bunch of decoys in to basically trick all the sand batteries into lighting up early, and each and every one of those got a harm missile. Unfortunately, we don't have the benefit of that. We're actually going to have to do the Tomahawk part, which means we have to basically carve our way around a rock and try to find it. So let's see what we can see. Well, first of all, taking a look, I notice there's a pretty serious river here. If you can get the thing low enough and you're in a valley, that's usually a great place to put a weapon. The other thing I notice is there's this huge body of water here, which means no cover at all. Swinging over to this side, obviously we could launch things into Iran, but I'm sure Iran is not going to tolerate that very much, even though these guys were at war basically 2 years prior. Now, I know some of you are probably going, well, why don't we fire into Kuwait here? Well, Kuwait's perfectly fine as well. But what we're really missing is, if you remember the original Persian Gulf War, Saudi Arabia was an ally, which means all of our shots we can actually take through Saudi Arabia and basically turn and go flinging into Iraq here. So with that in the back of our head, we have one possible vector. But there's something else I want to see, and that's going to be what the terrain looks like in the country. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to look at terrain in this program. My favorite one, of course, is to switch to the relief layer, which makes it very, very, very obvious what the different terrain is. For example, holding my mouse down here, I can see the average elevation is like 40 feet, which means no cover. Coming to this side of things, the average elevation shoots up to about 1,000 feet. And obviously into Iran, you've got plenty of high mountains. So if we're going to try to come up with a way to get our weapons into Iraq and not be detected until the last possible second, we need to basically avoid this section, because if we do, we're basically a free hit. But if we fire all of our weapons into the higher altitudes over here, that's also going to mean that anybody looking up will be able to see them, unless the weapon, of course, is traveling mostly over the high sections. So with that in the back of our head, let's plot our strategy here. So I'm going to concentrate on targeting these bunkers in here, because these are going to be absolutely the toughest of the bunkers to get through. Now, the interesting thing here is, because this is the Persian Gulf War, the Iraq Army and Iraq Air Force and Air Defense only has the SA-2s and SA-3s. Now, that's not a problem, except SA-3s have the capability of engaging Tomahawk cruise missiles. SA-2s do not, which means we can actually basically boop-boo right through all these SA-2s without having to deal with a single one of them taking a pot shot at one of our rockets. However, as you know, the moment you fire and you're detected, that means everybody else is going to be detected too, so they're going to know that they're being attacked. So our basic strategy looks like it's going to have to be firing around this way, coming up and around, and then kind of scooting through the big nastiness here. As a matter of fact, I think I can see a pretty distinctive little hole in their defense. Again, this is the benefit of having good intel. Of course, the best hole that I see in their defense is actually coming from here. The problem is we're going to have to fire over the top of this particular location here, go out, and then come around again. So if we come right through here, that's not going to end so well. If we come up and around here, however, we're going to have our work cut out for us. Again, it's a super shame we can't fire into Iran here. Otherwise, we'd fire them all into Iran, pope on the last possible second, and basically surprise. But I do notice that this lake here is a pretty good depression. I do notice that this river is pretty low as well. So we might be able to sneak some in this way. And I can see that there's a little valley in here that we can take advantage of. All right, enough of that. Let's shoot. Hold down Shift F1. I'm going to drag a box around the center. And we'll go ahead and put those guys in the middle too. Why not? Shift F1, drag, let go. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all the things we don't actually need here. These radars, while they're very, very high priority targets, we're going to be much more interested in these particular targets that we have here. So we're going to keep it nice and cheap here, and I'm going to go ahead and fire. Let's see here. Who do we really want to attack? Bunkers, you're not going to kill them with Tomahawks, so I might as well take them out of the running here. And that leaves us with all these sector commands. Okay, that looks delightful. So we have a total of, let's see here, 16, and we have 3 targets. Do the division, that's going to be about 5 each. I'll be fairly cheap here, and I'll fire, let's call it 4 each. So I'll go ahead and allocate 4. I'll press allocate, and then I'm like, whoop, whoop. That is not what I wanted at all. I wanted the Tomahawks. Allocate 4. Apparently we're going to get both. Go away. Okay, here we go. Click on these ones. I'm going to press in the plot course button. Okay, so let's plot our course using as much of the terrain masking as we possibly can. So we've got that little radar there. So what I'm going to do is pop the first one into Saudi Arabia here. And then we're going to cruise up along this side. Is there anything we can hide in here? Was really hoping there'd be some terrain. There's some low-level stuff here, and that's a flat face, so we can get underneath this if we kind of go low. So I'm actually going to stay relatively the best I can underneath the radar horizon here. I can see there's a little, whoa, it's going to exceed the maximum weapon range, so we're going to have to come back at some point. So let's go ahead and find out where this, there's that little valley right there I'm going to take advantage of. So I'm going to pop out this way. I'm going to drag my mouse here, and let's see here. If we're going to get through that, we're going to have to come into this valley here. We're going to have to scoot up through here, and we're basically going to have to beeline it directly downtown like that, through the center of an incredibly tough gauntlet. And again, I'm trying to take advantage of the low altitude where all these guys are posted above. Remember, most SAMs can't shoot down well. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to tap the escape key, and those are targeted. So let's go grab this one. We'll go ahead and give you, and you get 4 Tomahawk cruise missiles. We'll plot course on this guy. We'll use a slightly different strategy this time. We'll see who gets through the best here. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm basically going to scoot right up the coast here, try to stay as much in Iraq as I can. This is a huge open spot. Of course, it's all flat here, so I'm going to try to spread the difference between these 2 radar posts. We'll go ahead and sneak up here. We can't go through that. If we go through that, we're going to get destroyed. So we can either go around like we did with the last group, or we can come out kind of the back here. So in this case, I think I'm actually going to go around. Sector command, let's call it this one. Oh boy, I don't think we're going to be able to thread that needle there. Going to go through here. Going to kind of come up here. Is that an SA3? Oh, it's an SA2. Never mind. We're going to go right over the SA2 because they're not going to be able to engage. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and lock onto this one as well. We'll go ahead and give you get 4 Tomahawk missiles. Click on it. Press the plot course button. All right, let's see here. Oh, you gave me an easy one. Thank you, sir. So this one, again, we'll sit close to Iran here. We'll kind of do one of these. We don't want to cross into Iran. I see there's no weapons here that are effective, but we're going to take advantage of our low-altitude cruise here. We're going to go up through here. We're going to kind of come sneak as close to the border here, and we're going to try to get ourselves as far away from all those SAMs as we possibly can, and we're just going to beeline right through it. Oh, man, you got to love these weapons, the fact that you can cheat like that. So then we got all those. Now, let's pretend for a second that we knew we had to hit, let's see, let's pick something really difficult. This guy right here. So let's pretend we need to hit him. So we're going to grab all the weapons we have left, which if I recall correctly, we only have 4 left, so let's allocate 4. And how would you plot a course through that many SAMs? Well, there's one of these cool tricks that I've learned playing Command over the years there, and that's the fact the SAM cannot hit a deflecting target, especially the old ones. So here's what you do. We're going to go ahead and take the exact same path we took with everybody else, but what I'm going to do is go right here, and I'm going to fly an arc in and out of their SAM batteries. Now you're probably going, what are you doing? So what you're doing is by flying an arc, you're going to go ahead and make the missiles fire all deflection shots at your Tomahawk, and then you're going to make a beeline for it and hit it after it's already wasted all its missiles on you. It's a fun strategy, but it actually works pretty well. All right, let's go ahead and switch back to the other team. All right, unpause. So in case you're curious, we have said that they can fire at anything they can hit. So we'll go ahead and speed up time here, and let's see how we did. Uh-oh. Notice the ones that fired in Saudi Arabia. Notice we completely lost the ones that went in here. They're about halfway now. Notice that this one's here. Yes, I did turn on all those radios, in case you're curious. We're doing fine. Oh, we spotted them. So now this group right here was picked up. This must be like a field battery or something like that. We missed it. Yeah, so it's picked up by that guy, but you can see they dipped down at the last second. Meanwhile, the crew that's traveling here through Saudi Arabia has not even been detected at all yet. But again, we're interested in how many of these are going to get through versus how many are going to get hit. So I'm guessing this is an SA3. Oh, it's a Hawk. Yep, I'm about to lose a lot of my Tomahawks here. Oh, and they lost sight of them. That's a chasing shot. That's a tough shot to make with any missile, especially against a target. Notice because it was a deflection shot, most of those initially missed. We completely missed this guy. We fell for their trap. That's okay, because I have a whole pack of them over here that they haven't even noticed got launched on them. Shame on me, though. Shame on me. Whoa, surprise! Several of them got through. So now what's going to happen is all these batteries here are going to try to do one of these things. And they're all going to be really nasty deflection shots, trying to, yep, watch this. So they're going to go to take this shot, and he's going to turn away. Ha, ha, ha. And then this guy's turning away a lot. Meanwhile, surprise, there's a whole group of ones that come out of this direction. All of a sudden, while they're distracted dealing with that, these guys that come rolling in here. I should have made them do a squiggle at the last second. Otherwise, they got themselves wrecked. I'm not going to lie, this is the most talented surface-to-air missile crew I've ever seen in my life. Because, I mean, it's pretty darn late at night. Meanwhile, this crew sneaks in. Bam, bam, bam. So those certainly got to their target. This guy's doing his thing. Notice anybody who can fire a shot, such as the SA3s and the SA6s, this is getting really irritating because they are now shooting at a deflection here. Oh, the deflection shot. Oh, there are more deflection shots. They snuck out and they managed to jump on an SA8 here. Oh, that's just not fair. All my Tomahawks are going to get plastered. Yuck. So we still have one more crew of Tomahawks that we have not detected yet. This is my last crew here. And they snuck through completely unscathed, more or less, and was able to hit in here and nail these ADOC of Baghdad. So total damage here, as you can see, is absolutely positively minimal. We have 22 here. I think we're 25 here, which is nothing. The other one that we targeted, I knew we weren't going to be able to hit it, so it was hopeless. So we'll go ahead and take a look at losses and expenditures. Let's see how much we cost the American taxpayer here. So they went through, well, about 30 SAMs, it's called 37, 38. We went through 16 Tomahawks. So we did a little tiny bit of damage, but not really a lot. So now I know you're sitting there going, okay, so your terrain mapping, the best it did is confuse the heck out of them. Well, that wasn't bad. So what would have happened if I ordered my guys to just do a general assault? Well, let's try that. I'm going to tap the F1 key, tap Shift F1, drag my little box here, and let's go ahead and just get rid of all these bunkers that we don't need, remove targets from the list. We'll grab all these here that we don't need. Hey, there they are again. We'll go and allocate 4 each. Click right here. Boop. So now each one of these targets should have 4. All right, unpause, and off they go. So notice he automatically predicts kind of this random little pattern here. He's going to go and swipe, sweetie, swoop. And he's on his way. And we'll switch back to Iraq real quick to see how they are doing so far. Back to Iraq. They had no trouble detecting them. They didn't fire on them at all because none of those weapons were short range anything, so they wouldn't have been able to engage it. The first crew systems of Tomahawks are coming in. The second crew of Tomahawks is coming in. They're going to do what they can. And here comes the shots. Splattered. Oh, here comes the next ones. Coming in, and here comes all the SAMs. Woo, oofda. All right, so we did 0 damage, and they fired the same amount of interceptors. Again, we're 4 less Tomahawks. However, as you can see, they went through a heck of a lot of interceptors and had no difficulty slapping our missiles out of the sky. So again, hopefully this video helps as far as starting to think about things from a more perspective as far as distances and times and places to hide your weapons. Tomahawks are great, but there's nothing stopping me from using an F-16 for the exact same purpose. If you really, really want to do something kind of funny, you can actually design Tomahawks that have the express purpose of wasting interceptors. For example, if I wanted to go right through along here, if I designed a Tomahawk that basically did something like this, here, watch this real quick. Let's go ahead and I'm going to fire 4. Whoops, I don't need any 25mm cannon. I just want 4 of those. Allocate all, please. If you wanted to really, really waste their interceptors, you can do something like this. However many waypoints you're allowed to use, just fly a circle around the enemies like that. And watch this. So now when the weapons fire, they're for the express purpose of irritating the air defense, not so much for causing physical damage. So now as the missiles are on their way here, I'll go ahead and put this mode. Here comes my pack of 4. Notice they didn't get picked up. Notice we're getting that really, really tough deflection shots. They miss every one of those. Those are really hard shots to take with any SAM system, especially since the target keeps dipping behind terrain. Now watch this. Here we go. Waste your missiles. Waste your missiles. Give me your missiles. Waste your missiles. Incredibly, I actually still hit the target. So what I want to show you here today, like I said, is how you can use terrain to your advantage, as well as take advantage of the geometry of the shot in order to make your weapons more difficult to do. Now, of course, like I said, if you had an F-16 or something, you could do the exact same process, but at least you have a little more variety in altitude. Enjoy.